Hello, and welcome to the FM podcast. I'm Jen Fritz, and I run Fritz Media, a music publicity and digital marketing firm located in Vancouver, Canada. And this is episode number 63 of the podcast. So, the topic of this week's show is building a better music industry. And joining me on the show is the executive director of Women in Music Canada, Robyn Stewart. Now, Robyn is someone who's actively trying to build a better and more equitable music industry through Women in Music Canada. And we had a great discussion about how the organization not only fosters gender equality in the music industry, but it's also there to connect and create community and provide support, resources, and advocacy for that community. We had a great discussion about how far we've come since both Robyn and I started in the music industry and how far we still need to go. It was a really great talk, and I hope you enjoy it. Here's my conversation with Robyn Stewart. Well, hello, Robyn. How are you doing today?
Hello, I'm great. It's summer's here.
Oh, is it? You're in Winnipeg? Is that right?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it summer there?
It's been 35 for like a week and a half already. It's like,
Are you kidding?
no, it's great.
Oh my God, that's insane. It's like gross and rainy here in Vancouver. So
Hey.
lucky you. Jeez. Oh my gosh. It's really good to see you. I was actually, before we had this before we did this, I was trying to think about when was the last time that I saw you. And I was like, well, is that some award show or some conference? So. I was like, I don't know which one. But it was that
Nose or something. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, it's one of those, but we actually have known each other for a long time. We go all the way back to 2010 with the Cultural Olympiad.
Yeah.
Remember that?
A while. It's been a minute. Yeah.
You were working with Alex Grigg, our good buddy. Oh man, what did you do for the Cultural Olympiad? I was trying to remember that too. You worked with Alex?
Yeah. So we did all the talent buying.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and oversaw that all the logistics happened, made sure everyone got there and got fed and etc. So yeah, he brought me in to do that. So I did all the cultural stages that were outside of the Olympics. So Whistler Village, Surrey, Richmond, Vancouver Live, etc. We had 12 stages.
Oh my God. That was a crazy time. Hey?
I love how everyone was like, oh, it's going to be so crazy during the Olympics. And if you stayed in town, it really wasn't. It was.
No.
Yeah.
It really wasn't. And the funny thing is like right now we have the World Cup, like FIFA World Cup here. And I think people were anticipating that same sort of, fervor, but there's nobody cares.
Really. Interesting. Good.
It's like, all right. Oh, man. To get things started here, I'm just going to begin with a question that I like to ask all of my guests. And that is, how did you get your start in music?
Purely by accident, to be honest. It was, I started my career as a stage manager for theater productions. So I did that for 5 years. And then I happened to be in Regina doing a show. And one of the board members from Prairie Music Week, which is Western Canadian Music Alliance now, reached out and said, hey, we need some help in the office for a couple months. I just need you to answer phones and forward things to board members. And I said, sure, that's fine. The show's running. I can do that during the day. It's fine. And went in, and on the first day, I got the deadline for getting a factor report in. And the very first thing I did in the music industry was a factor report.
Oh my God.
Back in the days when you had to do triplicate paper copies of everything. God. And it was fuel by fire. And believe it or not, I stayed. But Marianne Gibson at the time was on the board and flew in, and she was with CMT for a long time. And she came in and taught me all about what factor was and how to report. And and I just started going through different roles starting there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Where did you go from there?
From there, I was a volunteer coordinator for WCMA Breakout West for a year. And then I started planning the conference. Yeah. And it was seasonal for a long time. So I kept doing stage managing for a long time, and then eventually became full-time event manager there. And then I came out to work on the Olympics for a few years. Right after that, I did some contract work, some consultant work, and then left and worked in charity for a couple of years.
Well, you had the skills.
Yeah, I really I started working with charities on event planning and fund development, and And it was huge because it was like, I used to get told when events got stressed, a lot of people would say, well, you're not saving lives. It's just an event. And this was like, we were raising money for
We
people
are.
who are literally saving lives. I was working for an air ambulance company, and it was like every like X number of dollars I brought in was saving a life. So it was just a really different value prospect. I learned so much. And not just flying a helicopter. It was like a lot of really interesting skills. And then when when Junos came back to Winnipeg in 2014, I got brought into work on that for a bit and realized I just missed music. And so at the end of that, the opportunity to direct WCMA came up, and I grabbed that. So.
Amazing. I love it. So the title of this week's show is Building a Better Music Industry. And obviously I wanted to talk to you about this because you're the executive director of Women in Music Canada. And so you're someone who is actively actually working to build a better music industry. And, I wanted to ask you, when you hear that phrase, building a better music industry, what does that mean to you? Like, what do you think?
The first thing it means to me is that all the people who really genuinely and passionately want to be in the music industry, whether it's musicians or industry, a better music industry is one that supports them and allows them to support them, and works for the people who are working their butts off every day. Like, one that just, there's a lot of pieces that just don't make sense, and they need to. And so it's those things. I think it's one that makes sense, as much sense as like a teaching industry or accountants, right? That you can do your job and not be stressed all the time or not be going into mental health breakdown, that you're actually like in an industry that supports you being in.
Yeah, exactly. And, we're not there yet, but we are working on it. From your perspective then, like what are some of the biggest challenges that we're facing right now, do you think, in the Canadian music industry?
Well, I think the streaming services conversation is a big one, and I don't really have the answers there. But if I stick in my lane with respect to equity, I think the big things are just making sure that we're supporting right from people like considering what career to have, and studying at university level or even high school level to look at what career they want to have, knowing that entertainment industry is viable. It is a viable career, and it is for you. Because, not to say people aren't thinking that, but the discrepancy in equity is starting at that early.
Yeah.
When I started in this role, they had just put a study out that was primarily Ontario based, but I think it probably reflects across the country. And they looked at people in post-secondary education programs and early career phase, and 81% of the women they asked these questions of said that they had already experienced harassment, discrimination based on gender. 81%. That was huge.
Yeah.
And that was only 4 years ago. So it's, I guess 5 when they did the study. And then that same group said 67% of them said that they were already questioning whether this was the right career for them.
Oh, wow.
Because of
I guess not shocking. Yeah. If that's what the environment you're working in, like, why would you want to?
Yeah.
Right?
You look in my eyes were open really quickly to I know that certain genres are more discrepant than others, and certain areas of the industry are more discrepant. You get into technical roles and production, and there's a lot less women in those roles.
Yeah.
Those are things we can really, really concretely work on, and that programs like National Arts Center's global network of women music producers is really great at that, right? And really hitting that nail on the head. And I think we are making some movement in those areas. But it's also, it's looking at that whole ecosystem. So right from presenting the industry as a safe and lucrative place for you to be, right up to seeing leaders and mid-level management who look like you. And I'm talking women and women of color and non-binary and trans, because you're not going to come into something that doesn't look like someone like you has done it before.
Yeah. It wouldn't feel safe for you in some instances, especially I think that, as you mentioned, like in the live environment space, that's where I think the most work still needs to be done for sure. Both of us have worked in the music industry for a long time. I've probably been at it longer than you. I've seen a lot of changes over the years. I've faced, obviously, harassment, all of the things as every woman in this industry has. That's no big secret. Are there any areas where you've actually seen meaningful progress, let's say over the last like 5 to 10 years?
I think that I think one thing is, even though I wouldn't propose to say that any of these that solutions have been like done and were fixed. I think that people are a lot more open to talk about it
Yeah.
and to have those conversations. And there's definitely, when I say that, there's definitely still people who don't feel comfortable. But I think us as an organization has created a space where people do feel comfortable to come to us. And so we do relatively frequently get disclosures brought to us. I equally love that people feel comfortable to come to us, but also wish we could do more for them because we're not others.
Yeah.
But it's, it's a reminder that these things are still happening, but that people are seeing others step forward and feeling more comfortable to step forward themselves.
Yeah.
And the more people do that, the less it's going to be accepted.
It's very true.
The less it's going to be brushed with the rug.
Yeah.
Right? And so unfortunately, there needs to be a fear that someone's going to see what you did then before those things stop happening. But I've always lived with don't do anything that you wouldn't be happy seeing on the front page of the paper tomorrow. But not everybody does that.
That's it's a good way to live your life, man.
Like not everybody thinks of that. And so I think that there's just more people who are creating themselves as safe spaces to come to and to talk to. And I think that makes it harder for people to assume that there's anonymity.
I mean, on that instance, just for people that maybe aren't familiar with your organization, if somebody does come to you with a disclosure, do you just provide resources? Like, what is your responsibility in that action?
It's a really good question. So we provide resources as we can. We're always trying to keep up on what there is. One of the big things we do, though, is we just listen. We start by actively listening, hearing what people have to say, what they want to share, what they're looking for as a solution.
Yeah.
They want us to do. Because a lot of the time what I find is what they actually want us to do is listen.
Yeah.
And that's a start. And it often gives people strength to figure out what they want to do next.
Yeah.
Because they come to us when they often don't even know. Or they come to us and say, I don't want anything done with this. I just want to be heard. And then a month or two down the road, they call back and say, okay, now I want to do something. Can I get some resources? So yeah, it's like that. Now, I will also say that we have a big application in right now for funding to run a project on gender-based violence in the music industry.
Okay.
And so fingers crossed if we get that, but it's really going to help us with those resources and with training and having more spaces to help people with.
Yeah.
But for now, yeah, we mostly listen and provide resources. That can be whether it's a mental health need or a resource of somebody who is better prepared to in a clinical way to help them.
Totally. And that's no small thing to just have a space where you can be heard. I mean, that's not something that's always existed. And a lot of the time, especially when I was coming up, I couldn't even complain about anything. You just had to be happy to be there.
Yeah.
And, roll with the punches and be one of the guys, We like you, Fritz, because you can hang with us, Like, I think every woman has a version of that story. You know what I mean?
You find that, I know for me at the time, when you're in those conversations, in those rooms, you just were like, I myself was thinking, I'm lucky to be in this room.
100%. That's why I didn't say it. Like, why would I say something?
You started having these conversations that you were like, oh, wait, I didn't need to put up with that. That probably wasn't the right thing to be happening at the time. But yeah, it's funny because until we really started pinpointing, oh, no, we can expect more.
Progress takes time, right? And you kind of don't know. That's why I like this new generation. It's like things kind of swing a little too far and come back, but it's like, I like that they're speaking up for themselves. And I think that is exactly where we need to be. So it is good. But it does make you think about some things. You are right. All right. I want to talk a bit about community, just because as an organization, one of the things that Women in Music Canada does is help to sort of build a community infrastructure. How important do you think community building is just in creating long-term careers in music?
I think it's the most important. I think when I came into this role, the first thing I did was just talk to people. I spent months just making a point of having a couple calls a day and asking people what they wanted, I spoke with a lot of older, I shouldn't say older, more advanced people in the industry who'd been through this a long time. We were at or above my point, and asked them, what would you have liked to have when you first started?
Yeah.
And what would have helped you get to where you are faster, or what would have made things better? And a lot of the answers were mentorship, and just kept coming up over and over, and even for young people. And I think mentorship was one thing that we really lost during COVID.
Yeah.
It was really easy, easy enough to call someone up that you knew, or to have a Zoom call with someone you knew, or a group. But meeting new people was hard. And that's where you get that mentorship that you're not going to see if you're having to be in your own space. And so mentorship, something we really leaned into, and that really comes into community too. And it's funny because the community stuff often looks like the fluff.
Yeah.
It looks like the parties. It looks like the dinners, But I mean, last year when we were in Vancouver for Juno's, and we hosted the brunch at Rogue there, we had about 300 people, and I had several people, like women quite advanced in the music industry, walking out of there saying, Robyn, there were like 10 people I genuinely met here and would not have met otherwise. And that's what they were getting out of, like, that's
it's important.
Because you get to meet someone in a real, like, honest way that doesn't have an agenda and doesn't have, like, that you haven't researched, but you're meeting them really, like, for real.
Yeah.
And you're finding some connection, and then you're going, oh, hey, here's someone I want to work with. What can we do together? And then you're creating those things. And I think that's really what community is. It's, it feels like that, meeting your neighbor on the front sidewalk might be the same.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You might then know a plumber that you need or something, right? Like,
it's true.
Way,
so. That's how, this is no big secret. This is how all industries work. But, in an industry that, is working on equity. But I mean, when I was coming up there, I didn't really have a lot of examples of people at the top, right? So I know it's a lot easier now, and it's nice to have those relationships so you can ask questions. How did you get to where you're going? Or I'm working on something and I need a publicist. Hey, how about this person I met at this brunch, or just stuff like that. It all definitely helps.
I genuinely find that people in the music industry, especially those who've been in a long time, they are generous with their time and expertise.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
And I think I get offers all the time from surprisingly very, like, high level people saying, I would love to mentor someone. I would love to talk to someone who's a good fit. Like, and they really want to give back, and they've gotten to that place and known how hard it was for them getting up there.
That's it.
We get that all the time.
Yeah, it's that question that you asked the people that had been in the industry a long time, like, what would you have liked to have when you started?
Yeah.
Right. And mentorship is definitely one for me that I would have really liked to have. Do you have, I don't know if you can share this, but do you have an example of mentorship or support that had an impact on your own career? That is there somebody, I mean, it could be a man, it could be, it doesn't necessarily have to be a woman.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was working at the Olympic stuff, I came out and I had done some talent buying through WCMA at the point, but this was my first, like, full-time into talent buying, and not far into starting to put offers out and contract. I had one manager I was speaking with, or agent, sorry, I was speaking with, and we had made the offer. And I was like, this is how much we have. And he was trying to negotiate the fee, and he was trying to push hard. And I knew that his artist wasn't the right amount for the market.
Yeah.
And I was like, we can't go more. This is our budget. We can't go anymore. And he started yelling at me, do you know who I am? Do you know who this is? And started yelling and asked to talk to my boss.
Who was Alex Gregg?
It was Alex Gregg. And he was my boss, but he always used to say, don't call me that. We work equal. We do different asks and whatever. But I put him on the phone, and what this agent didn't know is that Alex was hearing this conversation. And he took the phone and he said, hey, so this is the offer, gave him the exact number that I had given him, and said, and next time, you do not need to ask for anyone else. She has the answer.
Oh, love it.
And that was it. Shut him up, never ask for it again. And to me, I was like, holy crap, he's got my back, because that hadn't always been the case. It was often I've had experience working with incredible women and men even to that point. But often it was like, okay, when you need to get the stuff done at the end, it's like the guy comes in and is like, okay, this is what it is. Like,
Yeah.
and they're going to listen to that more than you, and it's fine. And they might be saying the same stuff in a different way, but they're not going to listen to you. And he was just like, nope, don't do this again.
Yeah. She knows the same information that I do.
I loved it. I felt so respected in that moment. And I was just like, yeah, I can do this.
That's so great. That's a shout out to Alex Grigg. Yeah. I just saw him a couple weeks ago, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I was...
It's been a while. I don't get out west enough.
I went to see Core Blund at the Hollywood.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. It's a fun little night. I loved it. I love me some Alex Grigg, you know that.
Yeah.
We all do. Shining example in this music industry. In terms of like networking, I know that can feel like sometimes intimidating for some people, especially like younger generation. I think they have a harder time with that sort of type of socialization. Is there a way that you like encourage people to maybe think of it differently or approach it differently?
I like to think of it more as making friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
And don't go in with any like business agenda.
Yes.
And also remembering that people like to talk about themselves.
That's very, especially in this industry, man.
Right? Like,
yeah.
You know, especially, I mean, you might go into a room where you just want to meet people, or you might go into a room where there's somebody who you're a bit like daunted by and you really want to meet them. And I think it's two different things. If you have a specific person you want to meet, I mean, the first time I met Denise Donlin, I was like,
yeah,
I need to meet her and I got to figure out a whole conversation and what we're going to connect on and do my research. And I think, you know, I feel like maybe it worked, but honestly, then like a year later, I ran into her with some other people I knew in the industry, and we were just like dancing at a show, and it had way more impact than my research and my conversation.
That's how it is, though. I find that's the way it is for me too. Like I'll connect with somebody at an after party at a conference in someone's hotel room at like 1 a.m. And that's like, that connection sustains. Like I've had it for years.
Totally.
You know?
And I think the business part of networking, the business part that it goes to is going to happen at the right time and place.
Yeah.
You need to just make that personal connection in the moment. And so I like to think of like, you know, if you think of something that you're into, and then
how can I connect?
And then find someone who might also be into that. So if you really like shoes, like walk into the room and look for someone with killer shoes on and just go say, I love your shoes.
Yeah.
And then they might tell you about those shoes and they might tell you how much they love shoes. And then you can have a conversation with something that you have a bit of knowledge on, but you also are like asking them something that doesn't require them to give anything back. You're not trying to get anything out of them right away. You're just trying to make a connection. And then you might, you know, if they hand you a card, you might walk away and go, cool shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
And write it on the card or something. And then, just start a conversation that has nothing to do with business. Not all people really like to talk about business at networking events.
No, I don't find that they do. I feel like sometimes people will try to go in with their own little elevator pitch, and I'm just like, that is not the way to go about it. People are here to just hang out, have a good time, meet new people for sure. But like you said, like,
yeah, you're better to have that conversation about whatever, about like how hot the appetizers are or whatever.
Yeah.
And then on Monday, send a note saying, hey, it was great to like run into you at this event.
Yeah.
I'd love to talk about this sometime.
Yeah.
And then you do the business stuff. And it's about making personal connections because, and I mean, when I think about it, and I've heard this from a lot of people, the music industry is not the easiest one to get in or stay in.
It certainly is not.
And so when I think back to the amount of times I've been like, I'm done, I'm out, and then thought, why did I stay? It's the people.
Yeah.
And it's all about the people. And there's so many people I just genuinely love in this industry. And you know, no job is going to be perfect every day, but if you can make those personal connections, they're going to last forever.
No, that's 100% true. I mean, there's a reason why we're still here, you know? Some days I'm like, why? I don't really know, but there has to be a reason.
There's publicists in oil and gas industry too, but that's not where you went.
No, so my mom likes to tell me that one, but
I get it.
Yeah. All right. So we often hear, about diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. What do you think like meaningful progress actually looks like instead of like just like the buzzwords? What would you say? Like, what's progress in general? And I know I know it's slow, and I know it takes time, but maybe there's some barriers that are still there that we could work on, or that kind of thing.
No, you're right. And I mean, it starts often with checking of boxes. It starts with things that you are required to do, because at some point you have to, like, is creatures of habit.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of change your mindset a bit off the bat. So I get that. And it's not necessarily something that every person in every company is going to feel they have time to look at, but it's when we start. I think progress is when we start looking at the equity, diversity, inclusion, and the barriers in every little piece of what we do without having to think about it separately.
100%. And it starts with having to think about it.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a good start. Like, just like even with my podcast, I think about the guests that I have on the show and make sure that I have a good enough balance. And, sometimes some seasons I do and some I don't, but I try my best to do that. Right. And, we want to get somewhere where we don't have to think about it that way,
Train your brain to just know what fits. And I think, our gut reaction is really strong. And if you train yourself to be comfortable with the things that are equitable, diverse, and inclusive, then it's just going to feel better to do it that way.
Yeah.
And then you won't have to think about it as much. So, with program planning with the conference with Breakout West years ago is, now I'm talking years ago, but when we started talking about making sure things were equitable, and split, we started going, okay, we're not going to like do everything and then look at where our numbers are. We're going to make sure every panel is diverse. We're going to make sure every individual showcase is diverse. Because then when you look at the whole picture, it already is a mix.
Yeah, exactly.
You're looking at all the little pieces. And so we really thought about it that way. And now I look at things like I recently did a job hire with WCMA or with Women in Music. And when I reviewed all our applications, I noticed that we had a lot of diversity in the applicants.
Nice.
And I wanted to make sure that was matched in the people that we were advancing for interview. And I found that I went through everything and narrowed it down to like 12 we were going to look at more closely. And then stepped back and went, okay, what's the diverse mix of these people? And it was there. The mix was already there, because as we were going through it, it was like we knew what felt right. And I tend to like to hire people who have very different experiences to me.
But I think that's so important.
Yeah, so important.
Also, it's just like that's important in all art, full stop. But you know what I mean? But especially in your own life. That's why I have friends that are in their 20s, because I want to know what's going on. I want to,
Like, you're not going to learn from someone who has the same experiences and knowledge as you.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, want to keep learning. So why would I?
Same. I'm the same.
Is going to bring the same thing to the table. So, so if you just start, I think we will get to, I think that maybe that's it, is success is getting to a place where what feels comfortable is diverse, inclusive, and
it doesn't feel like just checking a box. We have to do this,
Yeah. So you can go back and go, okay, fine, this funder wants us to check boxes, but you know that you're going to be able to do it because everything's felt right and it's gotten to that place.
I like that. That was very insightful. I enjoyed that. So at Women in Music Canada, are there like maybe some sort of like programs and initiatives that you're excited about, like stuff that you're working on right now that you're really excited about right now?
I touched on the one we're hoping to do with gender-based violence, but what we're doing right now, so we've just brought on a new hire that's going to be working with our membership and revamping our membership, our premium membership benefits. So it's something we did 3 years ago. We've kind of been updating it as we go along, but they're going to do a whole, let's see what people really want. Let's assess how people feel about it. So I'm excited to take a step back this summer and really dive into that and make sure that we're meeting the needs of our members as well as we can. Program-wise, our Entrepreneur Accelerator is always so exciting to get new and young people in.
Yeah.
And we'll be coming into January with the 4th year of our Leadership Accelerator, which we brought RBC Bank on this year to support it. And they were so excited to do it. And it's now it's solid now. That program's in set. And it's really developing who's going to be the next leaders of the industry, which is so exciting.
That is exciting. I
Yeah,
like
those
it.
are my favorites right now. In March, we did the summit as a global summit for the first time, which was really exciting, and working more with our network across the world. And I think that provides some really great export opportunities that'll come down the road as well. So
Totally. You have to build and then get that infrastructure in place to get there. But yeah, I mean, there's lots of great, women in music groups globally.
yeah.
I went to a conference like in 2019, the She Said So conference in Portugal, because I was like, well, they're having one.
Yeah.
I was like so excited to like be at a music conference with like all women, and there should be like more of those things.
Yeah,
I
they do
think.
great work as well.
Definitely. But like we've touched on this, but we do have to like always like to say this, like as an older woman, as a Gen Xer in this music industry, it's important to think about, raising up not just like white ladies. And and also like just a cisgender hetero white lady, like that's not the goal. There's a lot of equity there.
Well, 100%. And this is just it. When I got into this role, I was like, okay, if you take like the general organizations out of the picture and it's now just women, I'm the least intersectional of them.
Yeah.
And so that was a big part of why I started, by just talking to people.
Yeah.
And recognizing that I don't have all the experiences of being a woman in the music industry.
No.
Because that could be, two-spirit, transgender women. It could be Black women, Hispanic, Indigenous, etc. And there's all different things that come with that.
Yeah.
And new Canadians.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's such a growing piece. We just did our leadership accelerator this year, and 2 of the women in it were new Canadians. Now, they weren't starting at our entrepreneur. They were starting in leadership because they were very skilled in where they came from, like where they grew up and built their career, and they were new to Canada, and that was the place, and they were so amazing to have in this program and to learn from.
Oh wow, yeah, what a great knowledge base to bring into it as well. And like to hear about those experiences too.
We're seeing a lot more new Canadians in our program applications and in our memberships, and just reaching out about like, how can I meet people? And that's such a big piece too, because a lot of what I'm finding is a lot of women who come to as new Canadians are often coming as single parents too.
Right. That's challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because their partner's still back home or something like that.
Oh wow. Oh, so many things to think about.
We're here for it.
Okay, so wrapping things up a bit here. If we had this conversation again, like 5 years from now, what would you hope has changed in the
okay.
industry?
So I would hope that imposter syndrome has gone down.
Oh, cheers to that. Yeah.
That's huge.
Yes.
But I think that society has given us all imposter syndrome.
I agree.
And I think that, seeing new people coming up without that massive imposter syndrome, because it's a barrier. I have it myself.
Yeah.
I think if that is reduced, that's huge.
Yeah.
I think that if we look at the scope of company leaders in the music industry, and I'm not talking about like independent entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, but like the big companies, that they are equitable and also like intersectionally equitable.
Yes.
Then that is success.
Yeah, I agree.
And I would also say that I think there's a certain success in like getting to a place where cisgender white men don't feel that this is an attack on their.
Yeah, I mean, it's that I think is the biggest barrier in my perspective. I think that it's better.
Yeah.
For sure. But it's like you said, you have to grow okay with being uncomfortable in it, and no one's mad at you. We're not mad at all men. We're just like saying that we live in a patriarchy, and this is all, and it affects everybody.
And I think one of the big steps to being an ally, and there are tons of allies. I'm not, this isn't a criticism.
No.
The one step to being a good ally is recognizing that none of the movements to equity, diversity, and inclusion are an attack on your privilege.
No.
They're actually an opportunity to all learn together and all be better for this mix. So, yeah, I think that needs to change as well.
Agreed. Yeah, I would agree. I think, I have hope. I have to have hope that we'll get there.
Mhm.
And those that can't adjust, maybe they'll fall by the wayside. But, that's really a dream. But but I think if more men do adapt, I mean, if more men adapt, I think that there's just going to be
Yeah.
no choice, because there are a lot of men in this industry that are wonderful allies, like
Totally.
you said. Yeah. So
I have 2 little boys, and I want them to be able to do whatever they wanna do and not and, they're going to be cis white men. And that's what it's looking like, and so it's, I want them to also feel like they can support their colleagues, they can uplift each other, and they can also
oh,
succeed
I
in what
love
they wanna
it.
do.
One day, right? Oh man. All right. Well, now seems like a really good time to head on over to our fresh content segment. Every week on the show, we discuss our favorite piece of music content for the week, and we always like to start with the guest. So, Robyn, what do you got for us?
Okay. Well, so I was telling you earlier, I just did my jury for, WCMA
Hmm.
and Breakout West, and I have been in love with the new Begonia album. It's not that new anymore.
So good, though.
I've listened to it so many times. I love it. But I was so torn when I started doing the jury, and the category that she's in is also Nuella Charles. And it's also Leith Clark. Like, there are so many incredible acts in there. So now I've been listening to Nuella nonstop. And
Nuella's so great.
so great. And I don't have it off the top of my head, but pretty much everything in the global category blew my mind. Like, and is so different from each other, which was
Oh
wild
my God.
and hard. But yeah, but yes, Nuella and
Begonia.
Begonia.
I'm a big fan of both of those
Yeah.
people, for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm really excited for Saya Gray's new album to come out this year.
Oh, yes, that is one to look forward to as well. We got lots of great music in Canada right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So good. Lots of great women in music in
Mhm.
Canada. All right. So my fresh content for the week, it's a music documentary, which is one of my favorite things. I will watch a music documentary about anybody, like anyone. I will always watch it. But there's a new one that's on Netflix. It's the new 3-part Kylie Minogue documentary. It's just called Kylie. And it is so good. It's really good. Like, if you don't know much about her career, yeah, she was treated horribly at the beginning of her career, particularly by the press in the UK. And she really went through it. And it really goes into, like, she was with Michael Hutchence from INXS, and who I love. He's like a legend. R.I.P. But there's like just lots of really good stuff, and a lot of stuff I didn't know about her. And it's a good little watch. So check it out. I will link to that documentary as well as Robyn's fresh content picks in the show notes, and that'll do it for us. Thank you so much for joining me, Robyn. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jen.
If people want to find out more about Women in Music Canada, where can they go? How can they do that?
They can go to womeninmusic.ca.
Amazing. That's easy. Well, have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
Well, I really enjoyed that conversation. It was fun. Thanks again to Robyn for coming on the show. Thanks so much for listening to the FM podcast. If you like the show, please tell your friends and give us a 5-star rating and review in Apple Podcasts. And you can also help us out by telling a friend about the show, or you can post about it on your socials. Whatever you can do to get the word out, we always appreciate it. The FM podcast is produced by me, Jen Fritz, for Fritz Media, with production assistance from Carla J. If you'd like to learn more about Fritz Media, go to our website, fritzmedia.ca. And if you'd like to learn more about the podcast, go to thefmpodcast.com. A big thank you to Said the Whale for providing the theme music for the show. Okay, so we're going to go out with our song of the week this week. This is a great one from Victoria-based indie rock band Blush. This is Seasons.
So
Bye. See you next Tuesday.